Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Project Ark here with Banjo-Kazooie, Part 5. Oh my god, this part is taking me so long. Finally, we're gonna do it. I've been so excited. I have done so much research. I'm gonna be talking mostly about Stop and Swop today. I'm gonna get my first egg, and it's going to be awesome. Alright, now, right off the bat, we're gonna talk about Treasure Trove Cove and the cheat codes of the sandcastle floor. Now, what you could do is, on top of getting the Jiggy out of the sandcastle floor, you could also type in a number of codes, which can do just about anything. They range from stuff as simple as getting further into the game, like opening no doors or opening certain levels, or also you could do stuff like making Banjo's hands bigger, stuff like that, which is really interesting. Now, what you could also do with the sandcastle floor, as we later learned, was you could unlock Stop and Swop by inputting certain codes. Now, another thing I wanted to point out was actually little not known bit of trivia is that there's no letter Q on the bottom of this floor. I didn't really even know that until I did a little bit more research. Another interesting thing is there's a level opening. There's a way to open up Treasure Trove Cove from the sandcastle floor, which actually has made people come to think that Banjo-Kazooie, originally the sandcastle floor, wasn't on Treasure Trove Cove, but it was on Mumbo's Mountain. So that's another interesting little tidbit. And you could also get stuff that was pretty standard in the game too. Like Cheeto would tell you to put in cheat codes that would get you red feathers and gold feathers, and basically, I believe it's get unlimited of a certain amount, or double or triple. Can't quite remember that one. But yeah. And another cool thing about the game is it used to be called, I think it's Hammerhead Island. Hammerhead Beach is actually what it was called. And then they changed it to Treasure Trove Cove. Nobody really knows why, but I like the name better. It's a bit more of a play on words. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that came out of the sandcastle floor. I also think it was a debugger, so that basically developers could jump from level to level pretty easily, try stuff out. And there's actually one set of cheats that were with the level skipping. If you use more than 3 bottles, will warn you that he's going to delete your data. Kind of like I showed in, or at least I think I failed to show in an earlier part. And yeah, basically he actually does do it at that point. Your data will be deleted. But you know what? That's well and good. This is where it's at. Stop and Swop. The mystery, the intrigue, all the discussion, years, forums, internet searching, trying to figure out a bunch of people who, were developers trying to figure out, the source code of the game. We're finally going to get our first Stop and Swop. I am so excited. I'm going to poop on this guy, and I am so jacked to just finally get to talk to you guys about this. Now, Stop and Swop started as sort of this video. If you get every single Jiggy and I believe no piece in the course of the game, what you end up doing is unlocking a final cutscene with Mumbo. And Mumbo will reveal 3 pictures of locations that you couldn't get to in the game, including 2 pieces of Stop and Swop and an ice key, which included this raised island. And no one knew what it meant. And we all knew it had to do with the sequel. Now, we were all really excited, and we were trying to see, like, Banjo-Tooie was announced, and everyone was really jacked to go ahead and wait. Where is it? Where's my Stop and Swop game? What? Where? It's not. Are you joking? Are you kidding? Where is it? I didn't collect it. What is going on? What is going on? Where's my Stop and Swop? What do you mean I have Stop and Swop? Are you kidding me? Because I collected it in one file? It gets collected in every file on your account, on your gamer tag? So I had to make a new gamer tag just to frickin' show Stop and Swop? Oh god. Here we go. So guys, what ended up happening was exactly like I was saying. I lost. I collected it on my Project Ark account which was then made it so that every file that you did it on in that game stopped stay collected throughout the profile. So I had to make a completely new profile and restart the game. I also am going to show off the achievements I didn't show off in the original game. Yeah, there's collect your first Jiggy, and now get your first transformation. And this is also me. I'm going to show you guys how you're supposed to get the last honeycomb piece properly as a termite, instead of doing the little thing where I kind of played around for a bit. And we're also going to be getting all the Bruntilda in this part. I'm going to continue to talk about Stop and Swap, though. I don't know how many times I've had problems with this. I went to go record this part. No audio. There was no audio recording. I went to go capture the video. I was missing. I had to replay the entire game. This Banjo-Kazooie will not let me finish it, but I will finish it. God damn it! And this is me owning Snapper. Kabows. Yeah. So what it was the second game was slated for release, and everyone was really freaking excited, like crazy excited for this. Now, what ended up happening was that once Banjo-Tooie came out, what came out of it was not what we were expecting. It said, you know, oh, by the way, this is the lowered Shark Food Island. You have to have save data from either Banjo-Tooie or Nuts and Bolts on Xbox Live for it to raise, and I had neither on the profile that I made, so I had to quit and then come back, and I just played Banjo-Tooie for a couple, like 2 seconds, and then it raised back up, as you'll see in the next part of the cut. So, this is what ended up happening was you could basically destroy cartridge blocks in the game. What that would do is it would unlock a couple of secret items. I think it was like 6 secret items or 7 secret items over the course of the game. But it kind of fell short. So what happened was there was a project that got started off. It's called the Rare Witch Project. Not Blair, but it's a play on that. It was pretty popular back when I was a kid. So it was the Rare Witch Project. And what ended up happening is they had to, they looked at the source code of the original game, and they found a number of things. They found the cheat codes to raise all the different islands and get all the different stop and swap. Originally, you had to use a Game Shark, but then they found the codes that you could put in that probably Banjo-Tooie was supposed to tell us to put into the sandcastle floor to raise everything. And then, now the original intent of it was called Stop and Swap, in the sense that you would do something called hot swapping. Oh, and there's my beautiful frickin' egg. Oh, I want that. Give it to me. Thank God. So, hot swapping was the process on the Nintendo 64. This is before memory cards were a predominant form and big enough to really do what hard drives and memory cards can do now, or have done in the past. Where you would, there was enough RAM, which is random active memory. There was enough active memory on the Nintendo 64 itself that when you shut off the Nintendo 64, you would have 30 seconds to switch games, and basically what you do, you would keep the game on, the Nintendo 64, take out one cartridge and put in the other, and within 30 seconds, that surface data, that little bit of data, was able to transfer, which would be enough to transfer over for different games. So this could completely revolutionize the gaming market, in a sense that sequels, kind of like what we do with Mass Effect and titles like that, could directly affect their sequels, which was a great idea. The only problems include the fact that when Nintendo got wind of this, they said, this might break stuff, and if it breaks, you buy it. Yeah, Nintendo said that this process was highly dangerous to the Nintendo 64, and if it wrecked even a single console, Rare would be liable for the cost of repair of every single console that incurred any damage because of it. So Rare kind of stepped out a little bit from that being a good idea fiscally. And then the other problem was there was an update, I believe, with the expansion set, or there was an update that, you know, secretly came with a couple games that would update the firmware, and it lowered that time to about I think it was a second, which was not enough for realistically for anyone to be able to do it. So Rare scrapped the project and didn't really tell people about it. It was like it took a long time. So in the meantime, we're busy trying to figure out what Stop and Swop really was. What was it supposed to mean? Were the eggs, what were the original intention for Banjo-Kazooie, right? And from there, it was just a massive conspiracy theory gone awry. Now, this is why I really like the Xbox Live Arcade version. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They, Stop and Swop in Banjo-Tooie especially, what it does is right off the bat, as soon as you see Heggy, the egg, I think that's her name, Heggy, something like that. As soon as you see her, you get your Stop and Swop, she hatches your eggs, and you get all this bonus content that seems like it would make sense. Stuff like the Jinjo multiplayer, the Mega Globo, I think, is another thing. You get some gamer picks, stuff like that. I mean, it's not like the original, but I guess that's kind of what they wanted to do. There's the Briggle Bash, you get stuff like that. So yeah, it was basically scrapped because of it. But part of the problem is that no one really knew what Stop and Swop was supposed to mean, and Rare spent a lot of time not telling us. So there was stuff like you could play as Gruntilda in the game with Stop and Swop. Just a whole bunch of circulated rumors. You know, you could get Banjo-Kazooie separated in Banjo-Kazooie like they intended. Anyways, I'm just gonna go around and fill in puzzle pieces, talk to Gruntilda. But yeah, so that was the intrigue of Stop and Swop. Everyone was always discussing what could it mean, what is it used for, you know, and then finding those eggs in the game and putting in those cheats, and finally, you know, finding them in places like Monster Mansion. Is that what it's called? Monster Ghoul Mansion? Oh, Jesus, I already forgot the name. I'm so bad with level names. And oh, jeez, I'm trying to think of another good one. But anyways. Yeah, it was just, it was the sense of conspiracy and what did it all mean. And there's a number of actually hidden stuff in Banjo-Tooie that was later found in the source code as well, including a multiplayer format for like a horde mode for Banjo-Kazooie. I think it's called Devil's Bottles minigame. That was found like, I think about a year ago, not even. And that's kind of my allure for Banjo-Kazooie. It's the sense of like there's something to this game that never gets to the surface. There's stuff that you don't naturally see. Now, another thing about Stop and Swop is they constantly make jokes about they make fun of the fans for it a lot. There's a bunch of references in let's see, let's take Nuts and Bolts. If for like 6,000 notes, which is more than the game actually has, they'll tell you the secret of Stop and Swop. And then Bottles takes your notes and says, "If I told you, I'd have to kill you." It's actually kind of a funny joke at fans. Another thing to note too, actually, was Stop and Swop was probably planned for Donkey Kong 64. Rare was working on Donkey Kong 64 at the same time as Banjo-Kazooie, which not a lot of people know. And because of this, more than likely there's hints and allures that probably you could Stop and Swap Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64, and that was going to be their intention more than Banjo-Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie. Now, what actually happened was, if you notice stuff like, anyone who's played Donkey Kong 64 knows about Fungi Forest. Actually, Fungi Forest was intended for Banjo-Kazooie, but the project got pushed pushed forward rather quickly. And so what they had to do is they took a lot of the content and levels that they couldn't fit into Banjo-Kazooie, and then they put it into Donkey Kong 64, which is also a fantastic Rare title. It was definitely a really good iteration of Donkey Kong, one of the last good ones. Actually, Donkey Kong Country Returns was fantastic. I really like that. That's a really good version of the game. But yeah, that's basically it for Stop and Swop. I'm just going to go ahead and finish talking to Gruntilda. If there's any other questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I would love to know if I was unclear about anything, about hot swapping or Stop and Swap, the actual physical process, why it couldn't work. Let else I want to touch on? We talked about the debugger with Treasure Trove Cove. A couple little tidbits here and there about interesting information. And there's going to be more to come. I've got a lot more stuff I want to talk about. Levels, maybe some, if I can scrounge it up, I think there's some enemies that, original character designs and stuff that weren't used in the final process that I want to talk about. A couple of spots that are kind of empty in Banjo-Kazooie, which is kind of interesting. I was talking about the unfinished process about of the game, basically, when it came out, and what that also led to was there's a number of spots where people assume that there should be levels and level openings too, which I find extremely interesting to see that sense of development you get from the game. I'm also going to be talking about Banjo-Kazooie's like how it came to be. I think it's going to be another part I'm going to do a little bit later, but I'm going to wait because these parts come out. Oh my gosh, these parts come out a little bit slowly because of the fact that I have to do so much research with these big parts like Stop and Swop, and I want to make sure I get everything right and that I'm not getting any, like, you know, it's 2011 and I really hope, actually it's going to be 2012 pretty soon, and I really hope Banjo-Kazooie, you know, being as old as it is, I think like, what, 16-ish years old? 16-ish years old or so, like it should, we should get it right, you know, by this point. So yeah, so this video is also going to be reference for me for my Brintilda, like when I do the final maze in this game, using the Brintilda like information. Usually when I go do the board game, I have no idea what Brintilda's gave me as answers, so I just kind of guess and hope my way through. But this, at least I'll have like a visual reference, which will be nice. But you know what, guys? Thank you for watching. This took so much time and effort. So many delays, had to completely replay this game, but I appreciate the support. I'm going to keep it coming. Have yourselves a nice day, and I will see you guys next time. Yes! I did it! Woo! God, that took forever.